Hi, everyone, and welcome. Flux Kontext is now officially open source. So, this was a great opportunity for me to finally update my outdated Flux template. So, now I'm going to teach you how to deploy my new Flux template with PuLID, with ControlNet, with context, and basically an all in one package for Flux. So to start, simply click the link in the description to deploy the template. Let's go to a new tab, paste that, and click enter. And if you don't already have a RunPod account, simply create one. If you already have a RunPod account, you should be in this screen. Now to start, you have to select your GPU, but before you select the GPU, simply click additional filters and filter by CUDA versions 12.8 and 12.9. So let's do that. And now you have the selection of GPUs. Now, I do recommend to go with at least a 5090. Personally, I like to go with either the Pro 6000 or the H100 SXM. But for the sake of this demo, let's go with the 5090. Now, the template will already be pre-selected. All you have to do is click Edit Template and expand the Public Environment Variables tab. And there's a few settings here that you need to configure. The first setting will be the CivitAI token. So let's say that you want to download additional models and not only the base Flux model. So let's go to CivitAI and let's say that we want to download Real Dream, the Flux version. So all you have to do is simply go to the AIR section and copy the model version ID. This is what we want to copy. You do not want the model ID. So let's copy the version ID. Simply click on that and set it in the Flux model IDs to download. Let's do that. And let's say that we also want a LoRa to download. So let's take a LoRa. I got the hands LoRa right here. So the same thing, simply copy the model version ID, copy that, go back to RunPod and modify the LoRa's IDs to download variable. Now, let's say that you want multiple LoRa's. All you have to do is just put the model version IDs in comma separated values. So let's say this is a different LoRa. So now the deployment will download the two different LoRa's. So let's leave it at that. And of course, I'm not going to put my CivitAI token right here, but you have to put yours. There's a detailed link in the description on how to obtain your CivitAI token. Now, the next setting that we want to configure is the Hugging Face token. And to obtain a Hugging Face token, all you have to do is go to Hugging Face. This is going to open in the ComfyUI repo, but you can ignore that. Simply click the profile picture on the top right, go to Access Tokens and create a new Access token. Copy that, go back to RunPod and simply put your token in the Hugging Face token box. And the last setting that you want to configure is whether you want to download PuLID, Flux ControlNet, and Flux Kontext. This is all true by default, but if there's something that you do not want to download, simply change it from true to false, and then it will not download. And that's it. Also, one last thing, you can set the file browser username and the file browser password, and I will elaborate on them in a second. Once you're done configuring everything, simply click Set Overrides, scroll all the way down, and click Deploy. Now, I already have a template deployed, so this is what it's going to look like. To know when the template is ready to be accessed, simply click the logs and wait for it to show ComfyUI is ready. And once ComfyUI is ready, simply click Connect, and you have three options. The first option is the file browser, so let's start with that. This is where you put your username and password that you configured in the environment variables. Next up, we got ComfyUI, so let's log into ComfyUI. And once you're inside ComfyUI, you might get a pop-up of like default workflows. Just close it by pressing X on the top right and press the workflows icon on the left side, and you will have three different workflows. The first one is for face swap. This is going to use Flux PuLID. The second one is Flux Kontext, and the last one is just a normal Flux workflow. So I'm going to cover the Flux face swap workflow, but all of the workflows work the same. And we'll quickly brush through the other workflows once we're done with this one. So Like my other workflows, this workflow is linear and it goes from the left to the right. So let's start from the leftmost side. You got the model loaders right here. You have to load in your model, your clips, and your VAE. Now, if you're using the RunPod template, those are already pre-configured. If you just happen to download this workflow from someplace else, you have to download the models on your own. You got a LoRa loader right here where you can select up to 4 different LoRa's and configure different strengths. Of course, you got your positive prompt, your negative prompt, and the resolutions that you want to generate. Now, for the face swapping, you have to put the face image right here. You can modify the weight and the start and end settings in the PuLID Flux. This is the face swapping node. Feel free to experiment with different settings. Just as a base guideline, the recommended weights are anywhere from 0.6 to 0.9. I found 0.85 to work just fine. Next up, you have to set your sampler, your scheduler, steps, and CFG. I like to go with these settings, but feel free to tweak and configure as you like. Once you're done, simply click Run, and let's see it in action. By the way, my prompt is a blonde lady standing in a shopping mall. So it does take a few seconds to load the PuLID Flux model on the first run. Then it should start generating. Let's give it some extra seconds. Now, while this loads, I just want to emphasize again, all the other workflows look exactly the same. I will show you, but just an FYI, if you're comfortable with this workflow, you will be comfortable and familiar with the other workflows. So now the generation is finished, and we can see in a few seconds the image right here. There you go, a blonde lady at the shopping mall and with face swapping. And also you have an upscaling node right here that does a very subtle upscaling. And this is the face swapping workflow. Moving on to the context workflow, exactly the same structure. Now, context allows you to take an image and write a prompt describing that image and change the location, change the clothing, change the hairstyle, and basically do any modifications that you want on existing images. So I got this image here of this very nice lady, and I wrote the woman is wearing a wedding dress and stands on a tall mountain. So let's run that. Now we're changing the model, so it has to load the model into memory. Of course, it takes a few seconds. So let's wait. And also, again, the same thing, positive prompt, negative prompt, select the resolution. By the way, I think that there's no negative prompt in context, so I'm just going to remove that from the final workflow. Excuse me for messing this up, but I will just remove that, and in the actual workflow, this will not be present. Resolution, CFG, sampler, scheduler, it's exactly the same thing, and we can see the image as it generates. And finally, we got the final image right here in a few seconds. I'll just put some elevator music or something like that. And you got the woman standing in a wedding dress on a top mountain. It doesn't look the best, but I'm sure that you'll find a better use case than I could. And finally, the normal Flux workflow looks exactly the same as the face swapping workflow minus the face swapping. So we got the model loading right here, the settings, the sampling, sampler, scheduler, steps, and I'm sure that you get the gist by now. So this is the Flux template from start to finish. If you've watched all the way until this point, do not forget to set the environment variables. Do not forget to set the Hugging Face token and the Civit AI token so you don't have any errors while deploying the template. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe, click the like button, click the bell, and do all that YouTube mumbo jumbo. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment or reach out to me via Discord or Patreon. Thank you so much for watching. Wish you a pleasant day. Bye-bye.